Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm Ben. Today we are back on the Kawasaki website looking at the 2023 model of the KLX300. If you guys remember, not too long ago, I put out a video talking about how I would never buy a 2023 model because the newly redesigned 2024 model looks so cool. But the thing is, my plan for this bike would be to do sort of a light adventure build. Obviously, this is not a KLR650, which is what I'm replacing, sort of. I'm really just looking for my next bike. I realize that this isn't going to be a KLR650, obviously, but that doesn't mean I couldn't do the same thing that I do with my KLR. And in all honesty, I think this bike probably makes a lot more sense for the actual type of riding that I do. And if you guys are unfamiliar, essentially, I like to be able to take a bike on the road for about an hour and then take it off the road for a couple hours and do stuff like this, or at least I would like to. Obviously, the KLR doesn't really afford me that ability to go quite that big. But man, it seems like the Rocky Mountain guys are really having a good time on this bike. And with all the stuff in the middle here really being the same on the 2023 model, man, it seems like maybe I should take my own advice that I gave you guys in this video, where I said basically this model, as much as it's maybe not as great looking as the newer one, being that it's not that different, and the fact that you can literally pick it up, at least in my area anyways, for $2,000 cheaper. And it seems like it would be insane to buy the 2024 model, especially when I literally plan on covering the back section of the bike, which is probably my least favorite part about the 2023 model. Or maybe even just do something as simple as a little top rack like this and install the Highland X2 rackless system that I've used on both my 701 and my TW200. Or really, I could even go with the more basic version that we put on my dad's Super Sherpa 250 last year. This is definitely considerably smaller than the Highland X2 rackless system, but I mean, it wouldn't hurt to pack a few things less when I go out camping. I mean, it would probably make a lot of sense to maybe force myself to do that. And look at that, there's even one on a KLX300 here. So I mean, this is pretty much covering up the back section. If you do some sort of fender eliminator, maybe even swap the taillight out for something else. Now, of course, none of that will get me the beautiful headlight cowl and beautiful headlight that they've got on here. And I think even the front fender is upgraded a bit. But the thing is, as much as I like this headlight, my plan with one of these would be to completely remove it. And what we're looking at here is actually the year model that I would be looking at. Obviously, like I said, this would be covered up, but the front half of the bike would look more or less like this. The one that I'm looking at doesn't have this in black. This is just green. But check out the price on this thing. If you go bare bones, it's even cheaper, but I don't want to supply my own headlights in there. I'd rather just order them with them. But this ARX Rally, I just randomly found it when I was searching for rally kits for this bike. They're out of Australia, obviously. Seems like a pretty small company. I've talked to them a bit. They seem like awesome people. And I mean, look at this kit that they put together for literally $630. I mean, most of the other kits out there are at least $1,000, if not $1,500. And I mean, you get lights and everything with this. It's really, I mean, a cool looking design. There are some angles where obviously it's not going to look exactly like a Tenere 700 or a CRF 300 Rally, but I don't know that I mind that. I mean, this is kind of down and dirty dual sport, which is exactly what this bike is. And I mean, as long as I've got a little bit of extra wind protection, as long as I've got a nice spot to put a big old automotive Garmin Nuvi 60 LM up there, which I think would really kind of line up nicely with the goofy dash that they've got on here. Or I guess we could even replace that. I mean, you've got spots on either side of that mount for a set of auxiliary lights, and I mean, it really looks pretty cool. As much as I like this, I think I like this more. Got exposed fuse box right here, which honestly I think is really cool. I mean, I can't complain about that. That is a really, really cool looking light adventure bike. Oh, and I guess I didn't even really realize that, but they've got my dad's bags on here, don't they? Or is that the Highland X2 rackless system? No, that's the Highland X2, I think, isn't it? So really, I guess I just kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion. I mean, what do you think, or what would you think about me picking one of these up and doing this light adventure build that I'm considering? I mean, I just had so much fun on the little TW200 on the camping adventure that we took on that very small section of the TWAT, and some really sloppy, messy trails. I mean, we literally said during that video that there's no way that we would have wanted to do that on any other bike. I mean, maybe my 701. As much as having huge range and a comfortable bike on the highway is nice, the camping adventure that my dad and I took on the KLR650, where we ended up doing way too many miles on the road and then way too many miles off-road on way too intensive ATV trails with way too much luggage. I mean, it was a great time, but I mean, we could have got hurt. It was honestly probably not very smart. I mean, anytime you're riding around completely mentally and physically fatigued, it's not good. So why do that to yourself? Why not have a bike that actually fits what I'm going to do? And I mean, I know why I didn't have that. I wanted to see what the KLR could do. Now I've done that, and now I'm kind of tired of that, and I would just like something that is more purpose-built for what I want. Now, obviously, this bike isn't necessarily going to be as great as the very first dual sport motorcycle that I've owned, and that is the DRZ400. Rocky Mountain ATV also has a pretty great build on this. They have lots of great parts for it. My biggest problem with buying one of these again, though, is just that, one, I've already had one, and two, it seems like the KLX300 has definitely got more search traffic these days, and obviously for somebody like me that is important. But there is one of these with not quite this big of a fuel tank, but a decent fuel tank, some really nice mods, not too far from here, for $1,000 more than the KLX. I know this would be much better in the sense that it just has more power and is probably, I guess, maybe not that much better off-road, honestly. The KLX, it seems like, really is a good off-road bike, and I think maybe that's why that's the one that I should go with. But I guess I would be interested to see how many of you guys would rather see a DRZ light adventure build. I mean, honestly, if I was to suggest one of these bikes, I would say that this one is going to be the more capable one, but I guess now that I think about it, maybe it wouldn't. I mean, I literally got rid of it because it didn't have a 6-gear and didn't really like highway speeds. But I mean, maybe that was even in my head. It was probably just fine. I mean, it would have been nice to have a little bit more power on the corners, but is the KLX300 really going to have more power around the corners than this because it has a 6-gear? I mean, maybe, probably not. I guess I wouldn't know until I rode it. It's not like I couldn't buy both of them, but I'm not exactly rolling in cash over here. Either way, though, no matter which direction I go, ARX actually would have me covered here. They've got a DR650 here with their, I think maybe that's the Rally replica one. But if we look at the Suzuki portion of their page here, you can see we've got either the Rally replica one, which is a bit bigger and not really my favorite proportions, I guess, or we've got the Enduro one for the DRZ. And man, I've got to say, this almost looks even better than the one on the KLX300, and I don't really know why. It just really is cool, and I guess these bikes have a bit done to them. Of course, this isn't a stock DRZ, obviously, but check that thing out, man. That's a good-looking bike. I really have always wanted one of these again. I just don't know if it's the smartest move for me, I guess. It's hard to turn that down, though. Look at that thing. Oh, he's got something else going on here, though. Like a piece of plastic tied in over there? That's kind of interesting. But either way, I mean, this one, the Adventure Pack, $650. I mean, you can't beat that for everything you're getting here. I mean, this is awesome. And I don't have really any affiliation with these guys other than the fact that I've been asking them a million questions about different bikes and that sort of thing. But boy, that's a good-looking bike. Now, I was kind of surprised to see that the XR650 video was actually doing a bit better than all the rest. The KLX300 seems to be sort of kind of where it's at if I want to get something that's very searchable right now. But the XR650 did kind of intrigue me just because it does seem, I guess, a little bit more radical than I remember it being when I was comparing bikes. And there is one of these that is a really, really, really good deal, or a really good price anyways. But it's got some work done to the motor, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'd rather have, I guess, the newest and most current version in its stock form, if I can get it that way. But boy, this does have me intrigued too. I mean, this just looks like a bike that is worth experiencing, I guess. And I've sort of been on one end of the spectrum with the KLR 650, you know, for the wind protection, that sort of thing. It'd be interesting to see what I could get a bike like this to feel like as far as on-road performance and comfort, along with the obvious, you know, extra capability that it has off-road. So let me know what you guys think that I should do down in the comments section. I'm almost thinking I might go pick that one up this week. It's 511 miles. I mean, $2,000 less than a brand new one, but still almost new, nothing done to it. Enough money left over to buy something else in comparison to buying one of the other giant bikes that I was looking at to begin with. I don't know, somebody talked me out of it. Maybe next video we'll have a new bike to show you guys. So thanks for watching, take care, stay safe, stay swanky. Hit that subscribe button if you want to make sure you see what I pick out. Somebody please help me decide. KLX, DRZ, or XR.